Roger Stone here with an urgent warning. While we celebrate Trump's historic win, inflation continues to drain your IRA and 401k. And China is now targeting your money with a kill shot on the U.S. dollar. That's why thousands of Americans are shielding their savings with gold and contacting the experts at Colonial Metals Group. Gold has protected American wealth through every financial war. For a free 2024 gold guide that explains everything, go to freegoldguide.com/stone or call 800-747-6589. So go to freegoldguide.com/stone or call 800-747-6589. That's 800-747-6589 for a free 2024 gold guide to learn how you can protect your life's work, and if you qualify for a free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver right now. That's freegoldguide.com/stone.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And John, I understand we have now Congressman Jim Jordan, who can certainly talk about that.
Let's talk to him.
And a lot more. Of course, he is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee and so many other big committees. Also a member of Oversight and Accountability.
One question. Is the rule of law going to be paramount again?
It is. It sure is, and it doesn't hurt that the current director of the FBI has decided to step down, which was I think we all saw coming, and that President Trump has nominated someone who I think understands that and understands its equal treatment under the law. Kash Patel, who I hope is confirmed and is our next director at the FBI.
Congressman Jordan, are we going to find out who was pushing Christopher Wray's buttons? Was it the Department of Justice? Was it political appointees? Was it his loyalty to any of his past employers? I won't mention names.
All I know is he should have pushed back when people came to him.
If I was FBI, you're right. If I was FBI director, I would do my job to the best of my ability. And if somebody tried to push me in the wrong direction, I'd say, I'm going to go make a press release and I'm going to resign and tell them X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because remember, we know that in the Justice Department that they were investigating moms and dads at school board meetings. We know under Chris Wray that the Richmond field office of the FBI wrote a memorandum which said if you're a pro-life Catholic, they viewed you as an extremist. We know Christopher Wray raided the home. The FBI participated in that raid of the home of President Trump 2 years ago in August. We know they retaliated against whistleblowers, and we learned yesterday from the Inspector General, actually 2 days ago from the Inspector General at the Justice Department, that they actually spied on Congressional Hill staffers, got their metadata, who they were emailing with, who they were talking with, got that information on staffers who were involved in exposing the whole Russia collusion hoax. And guess who one of those staffers were that they got the metadata on the Hill? Kash Patel, who's slated to be the next FBI director. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And meanwhile, while all that's going on, we have an FBI that can't tell us who planted the pipe bombs on January 6th, who leaked the Dobbs opinion, and who put cocaine at the White House.
So can we bring things under control again? I mean, Congressman Jordan, you're the head of the judiciary. Can we bring things under control?
Yep, and it starts with President Trump. The people he has nominated for these key positions, running these key federal agencies, have the attitude that the American people voted for on November 5th. The American people said, we agree with President Trump. We want people to come in and shake up these agencies to bring back common sense and bring back the rule of law and equal treatment under the law, to protect the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Second Amendment. We want those kind of people. And those are exactly the kind of folks President Trump has nominated. I think they're going to get confirmed, whether it's RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, Marco Rubio. You just get on the list. I think they're the kind of guys who are going to do the job that the American people voted for.
Yeah, I was talking to Senator Tuberville the other day, and he said to me that all the senators are going to go for it, give President Trump his saying, because you know why? Because President Trump could specialize in one thing he knows best. You're fired. So if they don't do a good job, you're fired.
He knows that.
He knows how to do that.
You should make a TV show about that.
Yeah, big one.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I know about the president is, and he says this, and he says it, and it's accurate. He says the best retribution, the best thing to do is to win. Success is the best measure. Success is the, quote, best revenge, if you want to use that term. But the left is always talking, is he going to, when you're speaking about the Justice Department, is he going to try to exact revenge on the people who came after him? And he says, no, I'm going to, the best revenge, the best retribution is success.
Success is the best revenge. It's in my book.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Chairman Jim Jordan, let's go also, because there have been some people saying that taking it to the next level, as you're talking about Ray, and I think about the Mar-a-Lago raid and all these things. Will there be, do you believe, in this next Congress, an investigation of those who really crossed the line? I mean, and even the Russia hoax and spearheaded a lot. Who was behind this? Will we get to the bottom of that?
I think two things that will happen, certainly in our committee, and this is consistent with how Congress has always operated. When there's a special counsel, there's always a review and examination of the special counsel and the report that they put forward. So, I mean, we did that. The Democrats did that when Robert Mueller did his investigation of the whole Russia hoax baloney, which was total baloney. But he came in, we got a report, we analyzed the report. We did that with Mr. Durham. We did that with Mr. Hur, who did the classified documents investigation.
But like, who pulled the strings? You know where I'm going. Like, who pulled the strings?
We will do the same thing with David Weiss. If you recall, David Weiss was the one who tried to do the sweetheart deal for Hunter Biden. That fell apart because we had brave whistleblowers come forward, and we had a court in Delaware say this is ridiculous, this deal. He then became special counsel, so we'll look at his report now that that investigation is done based on the pardon President Biden gave his son, and then we'll also look at Jack Smith. So yeah, that's how you do the look back. Is you do it from the perspective of looking at the special counsel in both of those investigations.
Well, Congressman, this is Rudy Washington. There's two things I would like to see the president do. On his first day, I would like to see him fire every general that had anything to do with Afghanistan withdrawal, because it looked like the fall of Saigon. And it projected our country in a horrible and probably led to October 7th and everything else because it made us look weak. The second thing.
By the way, Rudy, did you see today the other big news was Blinken came out and actually said he was sorry that of the way it was handled, which is so little, so
No, but then
late.
he also said, they did the best they could under circumstances.
Yeah, I mean,
So
ridiculous.
Oh, please. The other thing, Congressman, I see the setup coming, and the setup is. Yeah, Comey went and got two or three warrants from the FISA court and laughed about it pretty much afterwards in his book and everything else, and people broke the law everywhere. Now, if the Trump administration moves to hold people accountable, they're going to call it revenge. They're already setting that table to call, things revenge. Preemptive pardons. If you broke the law, you should be held accountable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's interesting, we learned about what Comey did because of the good work of Chairman Nunes and one of his key staffers at that time, Kash Patel. But for Kash, I don't know that we learned that the Clinton campaign paid the law firm Perkins Coie, who hired Fusion GPS, who hired a foreigner, Christopher Steele, to put together the dossier, which was a bunch of garbage, a bunch of lies, and then that dossier became the basis to go to the FISA court to seek the warrant to go spy on President Trump's campaign. We don't learn that, but for the hard work of Kash Patel and Chairman Nunes when he was there. And that is the guy that President Trump is saying, I now want that guy who dug that up, who was able to figure that out and put that together for the American people. I want that guy taking over for Chris Wray and bringing the FBI back to where it's supposed to be.
Judge Weinberg.
Mr. Chairman, good to talk to you again. I want to raise the issue of these preemptive pardons. And I understand that Adam Schiff, who's now going to be a senator from California, introduced a piece of legislation called the Abuse of the Pardon Process. And now it's totally reversed, isn't it?
It sure is. Now, to his credit, he said he's not seeking a quote preemptive pardon. But I mean, it's if it wasn't so serious, you'd laugh at it because, this is what they accuse Republicans of doing. Some of my colleagues are supposedly doing. I mean, it makes no sense. And, of course, it was President Biden who a week and a half ago issued the pardon for a specific length of time. It was not just for specific crimes, which is how it's typically done. It was for these crimes that he's been charged with by David Weiss and all the way back to January 1st, 2014. So we have a pardon for 10 years and 11 months, any crime or potential crime that may have been committed. And, of course, we think that's because back in 14, 15, and 16, Joe Biden was vice president, and that's the time when he took specific actions with your tax dollars, your listeners' tax dollars, American tax dollars, to help a company, an energy company in Ukraine, help that company who was being investigated by the Ukrainian prosecutor, this company Burisma, which, of course, Hunter Biden sat on the board of. So I also think it's interesting that the Democrats said, oh, this impeachment inquiry by the Republicans in the House, there's nothing to it. Well, if there was nothing to it, why did they have to issue a pardon for the very things we were looking into? So, yeah, we'll see how this shakes out. But I don't think we're done. I actually think he's likely to pardon his brother as well. May not, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Well, Congressman Jim Jordan, thank you. We love having you here on Cats and Cosby.
Keep fighting for America and keep, it's not about being a Democrat or Republican. Be a real American and worry about our country. And thank you for what you're doing.
You bet. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.